Welcome back to the Crypto Clown World channel. I am your host with the honks, Jason Bruce, and we are going to get cracking back in this Monday morning, the 8th of January, to Bitcoin. And I do apologize, folks. It's been a few days since I put out a video. I've had some audio issues since I did the podcast last Friday with the CR Rhinos. Shout out to the CR Rhinos. We did have a great podcast. Make sure that you check that out on their channel if you haven't. But I did resolve those audio issues, so thankfully I'm able to bring you a video this morning. So with that in mind, we're on the 15-minute candles for Bitcoin, and we are seeing a pretty significant breakout here. So with the ETF news looming this week, we did see a lot of volatility over the weekend and a couple of fake outs. So we saw an upside fake out, retest, come down, break down to the pattern. And as we broke down to the pattern, we actually formed this bullish divergence here, created an inverse head and shoulders, broke out of that, and you got a real nice bull flag, retest here, perfect retest of this spider line, okay? And now you've seen this impulsive move. And this impulsive move looks to be forming an ascending triangle, and the measured move of that, if you take this move here from this swing down to this swing high at this tweezer top here, it's going to take you up potentially to this area around $46.7 thousand. So as long as this flag holds and we see a break out of this pattern, that target should follow through. Otherwise we'll get a retest of the 21 MA and this point of control around $47.1, $47.2 thousand. So we'll see how that goes this morning for BTC. But keep in mind, from what we're seeing here, there is actually a larger breakout in progress, where we've seen a break of this pennant, all right, this symmetrical type of a triangle that, like I said, they did run a couple of fake outs on us. Now we're seeing three white soldiers to the upside, with this volume gap filling as well, up to this $45.5 thousand area and potentially higher. Above that level, we could see momentum pick up to that target area that I mentioned, that 46.7K. There are higher targets potentially that I am looking at: 48.5, 48.5, 51.7, and 54.6K, potentially even 58K. I did hear somebody mention with a fairly convincing technical case as to why there are some fibs that may play out there, but I do still believe this area between 48 and 52K is a likely range for us to potentially see a larger rejection on, possibly on the monthly candles. But we'll see once we get up to that area how things are looking and if there's any significant divergence playing out. With that in mind, Ethereum seems to be following Bitcoin. This is actually a really strong candle that's brewing here on the 1 hour. And again, same type of a situation, a little bit of a fake out upside, more of a fake out downside. And now that volume is pushing back up towards this point of control, and Ethereum would have much larger price targets potentially coming here, as there is possibly this bullish megaphone pattern that's playing out here. So we could see some targets depending on how this breaks here, 2800, possibly even 3100 area coming for Ethereum out of this pattern. This is a bullish megaphone pattern. When you see that expansion after a wick to the downside, that volume wick to the downside, you can see the stochastics and the RSI are in our favor here. There is a nice bullish divergence that's picking up on the 4 hour, and there is a lot of these divergences that I'm seeing that are starting to come into the market, and it's telling me that there is going to be a larger move. So I did add to some of my altcoin stash this morning based on that. So keep in mind right now that Ethereum is going to dictate what the altcoins potentially do, and I do believe potentially, finally, we are starting to confirm a bottom for ETH BTC. We had a long bleed out after a rejection here at the 200 weekly moving average, but it does look like we formed a bullish divergence with these candles over here closing slightly lower than these candles. But this area on the RSI is showing this consolidation that's slightly higher than this area over here. So that did create this strong bullish divergence on the 4-hour. And if we move over to the daily candles for Ethereum BTC, excuse me, sorry, my eyes bothering me there just a little bit. It's not necessarily confirming that here yet, but the day's not over yet. So if we see a push up on this daily candle, it would actually form a bullish type of a divergence. So let's see how the day progresses and if the ETH BTC pair gets more of a bounce within this falling wedge here. And if we were to see that break out to the upside, we would potentially see that move up to the confluence of the 200 weekly and 200 daily, where you can see they're converging, and we are about to get a golden cross here with the 200 weekly crossing the 200 daily. If price action can close above and confirm 200 weekly as support, you can darn sure honk and bet that Ethereum and altcoins will start to fly. So with that in mind, folks, please do not construe anything that I'm saying this morning as financial advice. Get yourself a financial advisor, do your own due diligence and research before jumping into any coin project, investment, or trade. With that being said, if you're enjoying the technical analysis this morning, or if you're liking any of the content so far, please make sure that you honk the like button for me and get subscribed to my channel if you're not. And honk the bell for notifications as well, because we're going to bring you these videos in a timely manner going forward. Okay? Yes, we're thirsty this morning, folks. We're thirsty for gains, all right? We're thirsty for gains, so I'm going to give some to you. BNB on the 4-hour, folks. BNB. You say, Jason Bruce, this isn't a sexy pick with all these altcoins flying out of the stratosphere and Solana and everything else. Folks, this is the premier layer 1 blockchain aside from Ethereum, and Binance Smart Chain is going to do huge numbers in this upcoming bull run with some of the smaller projects that will be available to you there to degen on. So just keep in mind, you do need your BNB to buy those projects. And CZ, after stepping down as CEO, is likely trading this coin as well. So he is adding to the liquidity, and what we're actually seeing here, after some bleed out, I thought we were going to see this diamond pattern resolve to the upside. That didn't happen. So we've seen now a 3-wave set, if we count this as an outlier, to the downside. And now we're actually forming a bullish divergence, and I'm going to zero in on this divergence for you real quick. It is actually a slight hidden bullish divergence, okay, where we're higher on the RSI here but much lower in price action, and a little lower on the RSI here but much higher in price action, much higher. So this is a significant divergence. This is also indicating seller exhaustion, and with these 4-hour stochastics pointing up, it looks like BNB is ready to make some more moves, and potentially the next move is all the way up to just north of $500 to the $511 area. If we see that move for BNB, I will be raking in thousands in unrealized profits on my BNB long position. So as we flip over to the daily candles, we're getting a nice retest of the 21 MA / middle Bollinger Band. That needs to hold and will be looking really good. And there is a stronger hidden bullish divergence there, so price action continues to pick up there. Things will be looking really good for that BNB pair. All right. Another coin that I've been looking at and accumulating is Mana. And people said, Jason Bruce, you're crazy. Why are you buying in this area? All coins are too pumped. Well, I'm not going to make too much of a distinction between 40-cent Mana and 57-cent Mana right now. And you say, Jason Bruce, well, that sounds like an awful large swing. Well, these are altcoins, folks. And this is a very large Adam and Eve double bottom. I was willing to take the chance here, all right, that we potentially could have been making a larger move to the upside. We didn't. So I continue to average in on that bag along with sand. These are both going to move together with each other. These are both gaming metaverse projects. These are both coins that have institutional and VC backing. And I do expect both of these coins to make significant moves in the bull run. We have this nice Adam and Eve double bottom. We still haven't seen the follow through of that. And the upside targets for that would be around the areas of, north of $1 into potentially $2.50 area. Above that $2.50 area, Mana can fly and potentially hit its old all-time high above $5. And I am actually looking for potential targets around $13 and maybe even $40 to $42 for Mana in the upcoming bull run. You say, Jason Bruce, that's 100x from here. Can that coin 100x again? Yes, I believe it can. And I believe people don't fully understand how much money is going to flow into the crypto space over the next 12 to 18 months, possibly 24 months for some coins. So make sure that you're buckled up, folks. This is going to be one for the ages, and we will be here to help guide you through that, okay? So I do have a lot of money that I'm putting into these altcoins right now. And I do have a decent position that I'm accumulating in both Mana and Sand, because I did 100x on Mana in the last bull run. And if I don't hit this high-end projection here, well, I'm not worried about that. I'll take my 25 or 50x off the board when I see the bearish divergence, folks, and we will go from there. Because if you look at the last time this thing ran up here, okay, what happened? What happened? We formed this bearish divergence, and you could say, well, Jason Bruce, that looks like a bull flag on the RSI. No, that divergence was too strong here on the daily. Daily bearish divergences are meant to be heeded. So when we see those, we will heed them, folks. We will heed them. All right. And if I have missed those recently, I do apologize, and we'll do a much better job of that going forward. Okay? Because I did miss one here. All right. I missed this one right here, and it led to this dump. So, not perfect. Not going to get it every time. But when you see something pump that hard, okay, and you see a bearish divergence at the top, I sold in this area, folks. I did. I'm 100% fully transparent. I bought this coin the last run in this area right here. Maybe even right here. Somewhere in there. It's just above 5 cents. And I was able to sell above $5. It was a 100x, a legit 100x. Okay, you all can do that again too, right along with me, and I know that I will be doing it with multiple coins this run. So stick with me, folks. All right, jumping over to Caspa 4 hour, we're seeing again bullish divergence forming here, swinging down on the price action lower here than we initially did on this swing, but much lower on the RSI and higher on the RSI here. Stochastics in a bullish position. Caspa is looking to make some larger moves here. I do believe this is a bull flag, despite the fact that stochastics are pointing down a little bit. We'll see how the day progresses. However, if this is a bull flag, the price targets that I'm looking for here, we may still get a little bit of action to the downside, folks, because we're in like a little bit of a rising wedge for Caspa, okay? And this is going back, you know, to when the asset dropped on MEXC. But when we look at this, there's still a little bit of room for it to potentially hit the bottom of this channel. And maybe it just needs to move sideways to do that. So maybe we just need a little further consolidation or retest of this area again before the actual spring. But I am looking for Caspa to break this 14 to 15 cents range, and 20 cents to 25 cents are the next targets. If we take a look here, okay, it's taking us right up in confluence of that area. So we'll keep an eye out for those levels. All right, 34 and 55 cents are also possible going into this spring. I do believe once we reach some of these targets that we'll see some larger consolidation for Caspa over the summer before we see a larger run up, potentially to $4.50. So that is my ultimate bull run target for Caspa. Not saying that has to happen, folks. Again, nothing that I'm saying here should be construed as financial advice, but that target $4 to $5 is realistic based on a number of fundamental and technical factors. Now, on the Friday podcast and for weeks prior in the lounge and in my Discord and on previous podcasts and potentially even on this channel, I had mentioned Shido, S-H-I-D-O, Shido. Very, very fundamentally sound project, okay? Lots of VC backing, great tech, and very low fixed supply. Really, it's got all the bells and whistles fundamentally, and this chart began to break out last week. Okay, so I did talk about this on the podcast on Friday. Okay, if you're not listening to the podcast, you definitely want to be listening to the podcast, because you can see here you could have bought this coin very easily around 0.0015 area, and it pumped up to the 0.008 area. Okay, that's about a 5.5x. All right, I took profits all the way up here, and I got paid, and I averaged into other projects that I'm either down on or that I believe in. I've heard about from the same source that I heard about this project from. So folks, the influencer videos are coming out and everything else. You're not 100% late to the game yet on this thing, but you missed the ground floor. Okay, this was where the accumulation was at. If you were really lucky you got in here, I wasn't that lucky to get in at that fraction of a penny, but I did manage to get in at a fraction of a penny. Okay, so with that fraction of a penny, I believe this coin has potentially much higher price targets, and I am looking at some extrapolations based on some Fibonacci that could take us up to potentially 2 cents, 5 cents, or even 11 cents, which would still be a nice gain from the current area. I am potentially looking for some retracement as well. If we do see retracement, I will be looking in this area around 0.0023. Okay, if we flag out here, you'll be seeing these price targets come in. There is some hidden bullish divergence here on this 4-hour that potentially could drive the price up through this pennant. But keep in mind, I was under the impression this thing was going to dump a lot harder here. There was some bearish divergence, a rising wedge. We did come down, and now it formed this hidden bullish with low stochastics. So If we get the proper news this week with Bitcoin, the ETF follow through, this thing could just rage and blast all the way up to these potentially 2 or 5 cents targets or higher. Okay, so check out the tech on this thing too. Their website's fantastic. They have staking, a bunch of other features, DEX aggregator. This is a heck of a project right here. Okay, and I may dump more into this project at this level. To be completely honest, I probably just didn't go deep enough and maybe have taken too much profit on the way up. But I do have a moon bag, and we are holding that. We're up a significant amount. So with that in mind, I'm going to move over to the next coin. This is Bitrock. Okay, and I heard about this from the same source that I did Shido. Okay, so take that for what you will. Again, nothing that I'm saying here is financial advice. However, this is a really nice pennant with a very strong hidden bullish divergence. This breakout is already in progress. RSI above the 50 level, stochastics in the overbought territory on the daily. And you say, Chase and Bruce, this thing's already pumped. The stochastics are overbought. Well, sometimes when the stochastics are overbought on the daily, you can start to see significant momentum come into the market beyond the price action that's already occurred. So given the fact that we're still in this pattern, if we flip over to the 3-day, you can see here your stochastics are very low. If you wait for these 3-day stochastics to get up into this oversold territory, or excuse me, overbought territory, all right, we may be able to fly here, like big time, big time on this project. And it does, potentially have price targets upwards of, 42 cents, 90 cents, and $2.90. Okay, that would be a pretty significant gain from here. All right, and I believe this could happen pretty fast for this coin. Potential 22x for Bitrock, and I do believe we could see that happen this spring, or even within the next month or two before this spring. So keep an eye out for this thing. It is on MEXC. I just started jumping in and chipping away, and I've got a decent position now. So I may buy a little bit more at this level and just keep chipping away and create a much larger bag of this thing. But I do think it's going to get a nice pump, and it'll be pretty easy to sell off as well. So that's my take on that. So a couple of altcoin gems to go along with the Bitcoin news. Let's real quick just recap what we're seeing in BTC as we swing into the 15-minute candles, and potentially I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt here, but potentially we're seeing the breakdown of this pattern here. So we may see the 21 MA retested on the lower time frames before we make another move up here. All right, and potentially make like a fifth wave. If we kind of take a look here, we may be doing something like that before we need further consolidation. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens this morning and this week, folks. Thanks for joining me, and again, I apologize, it's been a few days. Hopefully no more audio issues going forward. Have yourselves a fantastic day, folks. Thank you again for checking out the video. If you made it this far and you haven't, please honk your like button on the way out and get subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications as well, and make sure you have yourselves a fantastic Monday. Take care and much love. God bless. See you soon.